You have home prices basically stagnant. You have mortgage rates down from the 8% rates where they were. So why are homes really unaffordable? Is it true? You figure that one out in your areas. What are home prices looking like? What are the real estate taxes looking like? What's the homeowners insurance looking like? Those are the three biggest components when you're looking to buy that first house. So I just want to make sure you're on the right path to home ownership. Hey folks, thanks for joining me today. So the topic today is everybody wants to know about, where home prices are going and where mortgage rates are going, but we're going to dive a little deeper today. How much can you really afford? So we're going to talk home prices. I'm going to go over that briefly. So if you've been on the sidelines for the last couple of years, especially since the pandemic ended in like 2022, that's when everybody says, okay, home prices are going to calm down from there. And they actually did. And then mortgage rates, we're going to look at those right through here on the board. You realize mortgage rates were 8% just 2 years ago. And then now you're starting to hear about foreclosures. So we're going to talk briefly about these, and then we're going to pinpoint and get a little personal. How much can you really afford? And I'm going to show you a new app we're getting a demo today that's going to take the industry by storm. So what really happened recently was I had one of my best friends. He came up to me and said, okay, one of the girls are looking to buy a house. What's the best way to look at the numbers? And so, he went on the web and he showed me some of the websites that they went through. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty crazy. So that launched me to create this thing. So without further ado, folks, let's get over to today's topic. How much can you really afford? So today we're going to demo our new application kind of to drive that rate down to you. So it's not only mortgage rates. So if you're new to my channel, this is what I am. My name is Dan Frio. I'm actually a licensed mortgage loan officer in all 50 states as well as Puerto Rico. This is one of the websites I created so you can follow mortgage rates on a daily basis. All these links are down below. So mortgage rates, they're low. They're not down to the 5% range a lot of people were hoping, but they're a far cry from the 8% where we were just about 2 years ago. But let's get over to this piece of the puzzle. What have home prices done since the pandemic ended? That FOMO. Everybody wanted to buy a house, so everybody bought homes. And then from there, people said from June of 2022, from there, the housing market is going to plummet. Well, if you're in a bubble in certain areas, you're going to say, yeah, the housing market's crashed. If you're in another bubble, you're going to say, well, our markets are fantastic. But what's the overall markets going to do? We're going to look at that. We're also going to look at foreclosures. So here's the first thing I want to do is go over what have home prices nationally done since the pandemic was over. That time prices were up like 40, 50%, like a 2-year time frame. So since then, the average home is up about 5%. The average home throughout the whole country. That's a $19,000 change. So I kept saying, if you're getting in this late, are you going to have that huge appreciation? No, because we'll get back to the normal appreciation here soon. But there is no crash. A lot of people said the housing market's going to crash. Here's the markets that are doing well, and here's the markets that are doing bad. You ever watch those crashers? Well, now I know why they do what they do, because they're in Austin and they're in Florida. So if you look at those two markets, yeah, they're crashing. They're down 25%. So I'd say Austin at a 25% deduction. I wouldn't say that's a crash, because if you look at the numbers prior to that, it ran up about 70, 80%. So 25%, correction, it was needed. But if you're looking at just that basic number, you're going to say, hey, okay, that's a crash. Okay. But if you're also in Syracuse, New York, or Hartford, Connecticut, or New Haven, Connecticut, you're killing it right now in home prices. So each market's a little bit different. You have to figure out what your market's doing. The next thing is foreclosures. You're going to hear foreclosures. I hear this every year, and it's certain channels that do this. Let's just dive into this, because this is probably what's freaking out a lot of people. I did some analytics, and you realize that most of my viewers come from these crasher videos. So here's what we're seeing on foreclosures. Now, if they were prominent, I'd be more than happy to tell you that, yeah, we're going to have a housing market really correction here soon, because foreclosures are going to skyrocket. But if you look at the data, let's take a little bit of a quick look at this. Q1 of this year, we have 118,000 foreclosures. Is that bad? Is it pretty high? Yeah, but not according to history. Okay, so if you go to according to history, let's just scroll down through here. And I just posted this blog online, so you can check this out on the rateupdates.com or the research section. In 2010, that's the motherlode of all crashes. 2.9 million people lost their homes. 2.9 million. And people are saying, oh, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. I keep saying, no, it's not. That is the worst I've ever seen. That's the most basically our whole country's ever seen in history. So you go down through here in 2019, that was pre-pandemic. That's kind of the benchmark that most people are going to use, because that's before all this chaos. There's usually about 400, let's say 500,000 foreclosures. That's a normal market because people lose their houses and they get absorbed back into the markets. Where are we seeing recently? Well, we're not even at pandemic averages. So there's not going to be a huge crash in all in the markets. So now let's get over to it. Home builders. This is the last piece I'm going to do because they're all the crashers. And if you're watching this out there, you're saying, okay, can my home prices come down? Foreclosures don't look like it. But how about the home builders? Well, if you go back to 2020 into 2022, everybody started saying, okay, the builders are going to be in big, big trouble. A lot of them are going to go into bankruptcy. Well, if you were believing that and you truly believed it, you should have what they call shorted the stock. So you can short these things. So as the price of the stock goes down, you'll make money. Well, home builders through here, they're actually seeing a pretty good times since the pandemic. They're up 104%. So if you shorted them, you thought the prices were going to go down, you lost a lot of money. So now, what can you buy? What can you afford? Hopefully I debunked some of these things to say, okay, home prices, they're not going to come crashing down. There's no reason for it. So now let's get to that question you really wanted is how much can I really afford? Okay, so here's what my buddy was showing me. He came in and said, and this is probably what you guys are going through as well. Let me know if you guys are, see this. Please jump in with any comments that you have. We're going to look at home affordability calculators. How much can I really afford? That's what I want to know. I don't want a calculator just to give me what the payment is. How much can I truly afford? So you go through here, US Bank, they're paying for their subscription there. But let's go to the first one, Zillow. Let's get to Zillow. They should have a pretty good format here. But if you go to it, Zillow, affordability calculator. Okay, let's see how this works. We're just going to use a benchmark, $100,000. My debts, I got a car loan at $500 and a credit card payment. So I got $750 in debts, and I'm going to put down $15,000. It's my first house. How much can I afford? $274. Let's see a full report. Is this accurate? I don't know, because this is just telling me the averages. Well, let's get back to the home affordability section. So the next one we're going to go is let's go to NerdWallet. How's NerdWallet's calculators look? Well, it looks basically like the same format, and then they're paid ads. So as you scroll through here, it's going to give you some brief information here, and then you're going to have to subscribe or click one of these and go through probably about 100 different applications to figure out what you qualify for. So now let's get over to what I just created and what I wanted to launch right through here. It's basically a calculator that does exactly this. You're going to feed it in the data. It's all about you. And then it's going to tell you what you qualify for. So let's get to the calculator. So what I wanted to be able to do, or for you to be able to do, is start plugging in your information and customize it to you and not pick a lender or anything. Just tell you, okay, this is approximately what you should be able to qualify for in all the programs out there. And then if you like what you see, you can actually order your credit. You can schedule a consultation. You can run more numbers. You can put in your application. But let's get over and see how this calculator works. So we just launched it actually this afternoon. So you're going to scroll through it, and here's what you're going to see. See what I might qualify for. So we can get started on an estimate. But what this is going to do is actually going to do all this. It's going to give you a fast estimate. Now, this isn't going to be completely precise because your data in might be wrong. You might have the wrong credit scores. Your income might be a little bit different. There might be other programs you qualify for, but this is going to drill it down as close as we possibly can. No confusion. It's actually going to tell you every program that you might be able to qualify based on the underwriting guidelines. And if you don't know the underwriting guidelines, if you look right below me, you can see where it says, let's chat. That data down here has every program that we have here at the bank and all the 30, almost 40 other lenders we work with. So ask a question down there. It'll tell you if you qualify for it or answer any specific questions that you have. Okay, so the next thing is the math. It's not going to be confusing. You're going to plug in the numbers, and it's going to give you the specific numbers you qualify for. The next thing is for real home buyers. This is going to narrow it down to really what you qualify for, and then what the next step should be. So let's scroll down here and see. Let's start this estimate. Okay, so the first thing is going to ask you, and there's precise information we need because the better the information, the better the outcome. So we're going to start in and say, okay, I live in Chicago, which is 60623, and that is in the state of Illinois. We're going to scroll down through here, and we're going to say I have a credit score of, let's just say 720. I'm in the middle of the road, 720 credit score. Now it's going to ask you a few more questions. Do you qualify for a USDA loan, or are you in a USDA area? You can check all the resources. I'll try to put them down there, but all you need to do is Google. Just Google USDA, can I qualify? Qualifications. It'll tell you, plug it in your zip code or the address. It'll give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You also can tell it how much income you make, and it'll actually qualify you through there as well. We can do it right through here. But if you don't know, or click it right through there. But let's just skip that for now and say, well, we're going to skip right through this. I'm not in the USDA area. I live in Chicago. Okay, so the next section is, let's go down through here. What is my income? Well, in Chicago, you have to make a lot of money. So let's say we make $120,000 a year. Okay? Down through here, what's my debt? Well, like I said in the previous screen, we got down our car payment and our credit card bill. So we got $750 in debts. The last screen, I think we said we're going to put $15,000 down when we're looking to buy on our home. Okay, so that's that part of it. Now, here's where it gets tricky. A lot of the calculators are just going to say, okay, what is your monthly insurance? You probably have no idea. Well, let me help you with this. Right through here, if you don't know what your rate is, you can click this button right through here. It's going to launch it through here. So let's go over to here and say, okay, I live in Chicago and 60623, and I'm looking to buy a $350,000 home. Taxes are almost $7,000. Yikes. Let's just plug in that for now. We're going to say it's about $500 a month. So that's going to really hurt our purchasing power, because this is another huge piece of the puzzle. Okay, so I'm going to get to something at the end of this video. But now let's get to the homeowner's insurance. Just plug in about $150. That should be fairly stable. But if you're in a certain areas that you probably know you're in, you might have really high insurance. If you're in Florida, insurance might be pretty high. Same thing as California. So what I suggest you do is call whoever has your homeowner's insurance and just ask them, saying, hey, if I'm looking to buy a house for about this amount of money in this area, what should be my insurance rate? And plug in the number. Okay, HOA means if you're buying into a condominium. They might have things that, they have a pool and a gym and all those things that cost you money. So you need to put in your HOA, the Homeowners Association. All right, this will ask you, do you know your specific LTV and other things that's going to ask you? You can skip through. You don't need to know the terminology. So we're going to skip through. Now, it's going to drill you down to even more programs that are available. Are you a veteran? Okay, if you are, a bunch of programs going to open up for you. But also, we're going to ask you, are you a first-time home buyer? Which in this case, I'm going to say yeah. And then those that are self-employed, if you're a gig worker, if you're self-employed, you file your own taxes, this you're probably self-employed, click it. Okay, it's going to be different underwriting parameters. Okay, but then are you in the medical field? This is going to be the physician's loans that we now offer. So you're going to be able to pick from any of these categories. But let's just make it simple. I don't want to keep you on here all day. We're just going to say we're a first-time home buyer and we don't qualify for any of these things. But if you do, it's going to gear you in the right direction. So let's get over to the results. So it's going to say, okay, I'm going to try to live in the zip code of 60623. And that's in Illinois. I have a credit scores of 720 to 740. My income, my other debts, my down payment, and all the other things that I put in through here. So what do I qualify for? Click it, and here we go. So now it's telling us, okay, based on the parameters of all the guidelines down below, this is what you're going to qualify for. So conventional loan, you can probably get up to $357,000. Okay, and this is the parameters behind it. You want to see what it's calculating? Click right through it. View the assumptions, and it's going to tell you everything right through there on how it came up with those mathematical answers. So get out of that, and it's going to do the same thing with the FHA. You can see over here on FHA, you can usually qualify for a little bit more. The reason being is the rates are usually a little bit lower, and you can also get a higher debt ratio. Now, these aren't the highest loans that you might qualify for. You might have some information that we can add to this that might boost those numbers up. Or these are basically parameters in here that should have no problems getting approved. If we need to push the envelope a little bit, we might be able to. So that's what it's going to show you down through there. And then down through here, here's where it gets a little unique. Those should be the programs you qualify for. It's not going to give you hypotheticals or anything like that. Now you really want to drill it down to what do you qualify for? Well, let's look at a few things that you can do. One thing you could do is right through here. You can actually order your own credit. And the reason being is if you do it through this system, I'll be able to use it because you're using my codes in this. Okay. So when you get that credit score in, what you might be able to do is schedule an appointment with us. Say, hey, Dan, I got qualified for these programs. Here's my credit score. Can you check the accuracy of my calculations? Because it's looking pretty good. I didn't think I'd be able to get qualified for that amount of money. The reason why a lot of people don't get qualified for as much as they think is they don't think they're going to qualify for, so they put it off. So don't disqualify yourself when it comes to a lot of these things. Okay, so there was another thing I was going to talk to you guys about in here, but let's keep going through here. So you can schedule a consultation with me. If you like the numbers, you're saying, okay, let's talk a little further. If you want to just start your application, you can do that right through here as well. But we have a quiz here that you could take as well. It's pretty neat. It's on a scoring system. It goes through AI. And then if you pass, it's going to say, congratulations, here's your next steps. But if you fail, it's going to put you down this track on why you failed. Was it your credit? Was it your down payment? Was it your income? And we're going to guide you each step of the way. So within maybe 60, 90 days, you can be back on the track of seeing if you could qualify for a home or not. So that is our report. That is basically our new app. And should be able to put in basically any combination of programs in here, and it should find it. Because again, what we're working with here is we have over 40 different, almost about 40 lenders, their programs in here. And why we do that is those are the people that we can work with. So if you have any questions, love to help you out. So if you're out there, you're driving yourself nuts, trying to figure out which mortgage calculator is the best for me, just go to the rateupdate.com. You'll be able to find this on our website, and you can also find it down below. So if you don't have any questions, I hope you enjoy this. If you're a loan officer, this is going to be fantastic to help your clients along the way. Realtors, quit guessing and just trying to figure this out. And then before you go out there and start looking to buy that house, kicking those tires, you don't want your wife mad because she falls in love with that house and then you don't qualify. You're going to be in deep, you know what I mean over there. We have affordability. We're trying to help you figure out how much you can afford. Home prices, like I said, they're stagnant right now. They're not moving anywhere crazy. And foreclosures aren't really going to help home prices anytime soon. So the biggest news you need to pay attention to in a home affordability, you have home prices basically stagnant. You have mortgage rates down from the 8% rates where they were. So why are homes really unaffordable? Is it true? You figure that one out in your areas. What are home prices looking like? What are the real estate taxes looking like? What's the homeowner's insurance looking like? Those are the three biggest components when you're looking to buy that first house. So I just want to make sure you're on the right path to home ownership, because if you can't afford these payments in these levels, it might not be time for you. But don't disqualify yourself. Check it out. See what you might qualify for. Might be much more than you think. So that's it for today, folks. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, let me know down below. Be more than happy to help you out.